Hey everybody, it's Ron from Ron's Basement. Thank you, and especially number one, you for joining me today. I'm going to make a short video for you, just kind of going over my thoughts on the gold market, a couple of my stocks in my portfolio, and share with you my thoughts on kind of where we are right now in the gold market and where we might be going in the future. So, right off the bat, a couple observations I've made over the last few weeks regarding the price of gold is, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it seems like there's been a shift, a slight shift. I won't say a major shift, but a shift in sentiment, very minor in that regard. But what I've noticed is in the past, it seemed like, well, maybe over the last like 7, 8, 9 months, the price of gold would go down and then it would bounce back up, but not as high as where it was when it first went down. Seems like in the last few weeks, we've had the price of gold going up and then it corrects down a little bit, but not quite as far down as it was before it went up, if that makes any sense. And I think it does. I don't know, if you follow the price of gold closely, that seems to be the trend the last few weeks. So I think that's a positive. I will say this, I'm not a real big, oh, the price of gold and silver is manipulated. I don't know if you are. That's fine if you are. And I think that I'm starting to believe that it is, because like over the last few weeks, it seems like every morning, I don't know, around 7:30 or 8 o'clock Central Time. What I've kind of discovered or read is that that's right around the time the COMEX opens, that the price of gold gets hammered on a lot of days. And it's just weird. So anyway, whether it's manipulated or not, I do believe that the natural forces of the market in the long term will result in a more accurate price for gold, which I believe to be much higher than where it is right now. On Friday it was kind of discouraging. Today's Saturday, the 23rd of October, I believe. On Friday, the price of gold was way up, and then Jeremy Powell started talking about tapering, and man, it was really depressing, to be honest with you. The gold seemed like it was up like 25 or 30 bucks an ounce, and then boom, got torpedoed. I think at this point, and then gold did come back a little bit. At this point, and he even said it, it's like this is the most telegraphed action by the Federal Reserve that I've ever noticed. I mean, it's like, yeah, we know you're going to taper, and it's not like you're raising rates and everything else. So I don't know. I don't think that. I think maybe in short-term price movements that can have some effect, but in the long run, the natural forces that are pushing the price of gold higher will continue to be in place. And I won't go into that ad nauseum, the money printing, the national debt, the fact that mathematically there's no way out for the United States at this point in terms of balancing the budget or eliminating the national debt. These natural forces will continue to press the price of gold higher. And that's good for you and me. I just sense that there's a lot of shortages right now, but I really sense that when I go to the local coin shop or when I look online and just things that I read, that not only is there a shortage of cars and electronics and all kinds of stuff, but I'm starting to really sense that it's showing up, and especially on the silver side, that there's beginning to be kind of a shortage of silver. And once people wake up just a little bit more about what's going on with the Fed and everything else, there's going to be a shortage of gold too. Just my thoughts. I don't know what you think about that, but you can share in the comments below. And I do read all the comments, although I'm a little too lazy to write back to most of them, but I read all of your comments, so thank you. So yeah, there's like a shortage of anything, most anything, or a lot of things that are real, food, everything else. And eventually, my gut tells me that that's going to feed through and continue to be a supportive factor for the price of precious metals. So when I think about it, it's like, well, where do I want to do? Do I want to put my money in cash? Do I want to keep it in the bank? Do I want to keep whatever money I have in money market accounts? Or no, the gut, I don't know how you feel about this. My gut just knows that like the value of the dollar is going to continue to go down, 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 down. I don't want to be in most stocks, but when I look at, I happen to think the price of gold is going to maintain its value over time. And then, so when I look at the gold mining stocks, I'm like, I actually, which is considered to be one of the riskiest places to put your money, to me, it's one of the safest places to put your money right now. Don't make any decisions based upon what I'm telling you here. This is not financial advice, but in my opinion, for me, when I look at it, I see, do I want to put my money in cash and like guaranteed lose 5, 6, 8, 12% per year? Or do I want to put my money into stocks, into mining companies, into developers that actually have gold in the ground, millions and millions of ounces, that in my opinion should at least maintain its value going forward and could likely explode higher at some point? Oh, and by the way, the sentiment on these stocks, gold mining stocks, is still, it's gotten a little better in the last few weeks. Thank you, God. But it's still really crappy. There's a guy, I get an email from him every darn week. I forget his name. He's an older guy, Peter Grandich, or somebody Grandich, the whiz kid of Wall Street, called the 87 crash. He's a big fan of gold and silver. He has a chart he showed yesterday of like the kind of the sentiment, how sentiment goes in stocks, and it kind of goes up and then down, and there's like different stages, like euphoria is at the top, and then when it starts to go down, denial, blah blah blah. He thinks for gold and silver mining stocks, we're like at the bottom of that curve before it starts to go up. We're like kind of in a depression / I don't know, despair mode. So I look at that, and most people say, oh, that is the last place you want to be. Well, no, to me, that's where I want to be, because it's got nowhere to go but up. And underneath it, these companies are producing and hold in the ground vast amounts of a real asset that I believe is going to be more valuable in the future. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's how I feel about it. So I actually feel safer, not certain, right? There's no certainty in anything, but I feel safer with a lot of my money in gold mining stocks than I would putting it in the bank for, let's say, the next 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. I don't know. We'll find out what happens. Well, just on those stocks one more time, these gold mining stocks in general, they are just, still, even though they've all come up a little bit, you're still buying these companies for like the value of the assets that they have. And on top of that, most of these companies are making a profit. When you compare them, and I won't bore you with a bunch of financial ratios and everything else, but when you compare them to telecom stocks like AT&T, I don't know, 3M, which is another stock that we've had for years, when you compare them to the local electric utility, for me here, it's Ameren UE. There's like, what you get with a gold mining stock from a value perspective is not even comparable to what you get with these other bigger stocks. Okay, I'm back. My twin 9-year-old daughters invaded my studio. So anyway, with the gold mining stocks, you are getting value. When you compare them from any balance sheet, income statement, price to sales, the book value of the company, net tangible assets compared to the market cap of the company, there's no comparison. So you're getting these things at very low sentiment with very high value and real assets. And the ability, am I repeating myself? You are getting these companies have the ability, and if you buy a producer, they are creating great net income and great positive cash flow. Last thing I'll say before I go on, at the end, I'll talk about a few of the stocks I own and update you on my portfolio. The whole crypto thing, okay, and it seems like some of the gold people are moving into more of the crypto space and blah, blah, blah. I still say, I'm not anti-crypto, but this is what I think about cryptocurrencies. cryptocurrencies. Just like email replaced paper mail, crypto, which is electronic currency, I guess you could call it, is kind of a replacement for paper currency. And just like you could print as much paper currency as you want, they can make as much crypto as they want. I know there's a limited number of Bitcoin, blah, 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 but there's like 5,000 cryptos, and who's to say that Bitcoin is going to remain the king of the cryptos? So, I'm not a hater, okay? I think it's interesting, everything else. I've actually looked at it long before most of these people that are in it now even heard of it. But I think, and the thing with Bitcoin that I don't get is like, they still don't really know who invented it. I mean, to me, that's just a little suspicious, right? This, massive financial asset, quote unquote, and we don't really know who created it. I don't know. Here's my thought, my conspiracy theory thought. I think that crypto is being used as secretly, possibly, as kind of a pressure relief valve for all this money that's been printed, right? Like on a hot water tank, you've got that. Now they make you put in this other little tank above it. It's like too much pressure builds up in the main tank, then it bleeds into this, I forget what it's called, overflow tank, basically. I think that's what there possibly could be going on with cryptocurrency. That they needed. They can't let gold fly, right? So they have this cryptocurrency where some of the excess pressure created by all the money printing has somewhere to go. I'm not saying I believe that 100%, maybe even just 40%, but anyway, I do think that crypto can be like, as much crypto can be created as they want. It's electronic. All right, I'll shut up on that. Real quickly, I haven't made any changes to my portfolio. I still have big positions in Fortuna Silver, who reported some really great production numbers last week or the week before. Their Lindero mine is doing very well, progressing. And, they did their first gold pour just about a year ago and had a very difficult time over the last year with COVID. The mine's already in a very remote place, hard to get people to under the best of circumstances. And with COVID, it made it next to impossible. So I digress. They're showing great improvement. Their new African asset did really well. I have a big position in Equinox. They're reporting numbers November 3rd. They did a lot of interviews and PR work about a month ago, and they have indicated that they are expecting, they're kind of telegraphing that the third quarter should be much better than the second quarter, and that the fourth quarter should be even much better than the third quarter, which leads us to the fifth quarter, which is actually the first quarter of 2023. Anyway, they're growing, huge inside ownership. I really like that company. Brixton Metals had a pretty good drill hole up in the Golden Triangle. I don't know. I'm just be honest. I'm starting to lose a little bit of my love for them, but still love them. Okay, you know how that goes in relationships, up and down. First Mining Gold has picked up a little bit. They added to their Springpole project land holdings. I still think that is one of the most undervalued. When you look at them on like a per ounce of gold, they don't produce anything, but they have all these projects and all this gold in the ground. So I still love First Mining Gold. Let's see. After that, I've got a little position in Fosterville. They're doing all right. And Treasury Metals, which is developing a mine up in Canada as well. So nothing's changed there. Thanks for watching. Sorry I rambled on so long, but I do appreciate you watching. I do read all of your comments and appreciate your feedback. And I hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.